Megan, tell me a little bit
Yes.
about you. Where are you from? Where do you
Sure.
live?
So, my dad is quite funny. He encouraged us. None of us were allowed to study anything in hospitality. And we all had to go and do a different degree. And so I actually ended up being a teacher to start off with. And I love teaching, and I'm very interested in it. And it's amazing how that has actually been essential in what I do now. Because we started a school. We to educate our own children, and our school still runs, and I'm very involved with that. And our projects that we kind of are involved with as a family are all based around education. Actually, we support 18 little preschools in the village, and sort of ECD centres, and and so that's like another whole side of hospitality that is, it's just kind of relevant. Like, you've got to, I don't know, we've been incredibly privileged to be here, live here, and it's always been important to me that we gave back to our community. Well, actually, our whole family, not just me, but and so we work very closely, and because I suppose I came from teaching, education has always been an important thing, and so that's kind of where our family focus really is. Well, besides the hotel, that's that's just like, that's what we do every day.
So how has the lockdown, let's first talk about the hotel and then we can talk about the community. How has the lockdown impacted on your hotel operations?
Sure. I mean, for me, it was such an emotional thing to close. I mean, we've never had a day here without a guest. So, I mean, our sort of lowest numbers would maybe be between 20 and 30 people would be very empty for us. And that kind of always felt a bit, like it wasn't great. We like it to be kind of busy and bustling, and, there's lots on the go. And so, when we had to close our doors, it was emotionally, it was just huge, our whole dining room empty, and, we've got an old coal stove in the kitchen, and, all those fires kind of being put out, and everything just kind of closing. It was dreadful. I mean, it is dreadful. And actually, but what has been interesting is that, I suppose everything in life, it's depressing and it's hard and it's horrible, but there are also some amazing things that have come out of it, this whole lockdown, where everybody was very much caged in their homes. And so, we've been lucky, really, in that respect. But from, obviously from a business side of things, it's devastating as well. You have no income, and you can't employ the people that you employ. And we have about 100 people that work with us. And, we're grateful for the tours that's come through. I mean, that definitely has been a lifesaver. But what is the future now, and how do we all get back on track? And definitely the market is going to be a lot more competitive, because and so I think it's going to be a long road to recovery.
And the community that you're so close to, have you been able to still work in those early child development projects that you've been working on? Have you had to put a hold on those?
Yeah, so I mean I've actually was there this morning. I mean, that's the other thing, is that you're not caught up with office work, so you can do a lot more community stuff, so which is quite nice. But the little ECD centres, those have all closed because they haven't been able to operate. But we do have. We also run an independent school, which we started when our children were little. So I was part of, we had to open that up, and that opened up in the beginning of June, when schools were allowed to go back. So we first opened our little school. That's running really well. We've got about 85 kids in that school, and we go from pre-primary up to grade 3, and we just focus on the foundation of learning. And it's been quite interesting, because we had to put protocols in place down there, and then we try to open here, because we, there's like a little bit of a gap in leisure travel, so we took it and opened and did our thing. And then now I've been working with these ECD centres and their teachers and helping them get protocols in place. And I mean, a lot of the stuff is all of the same kind of thing. You have to, wash your hands often and, wear your mask or have a shield or, and so it's and I think the thing is that we can't run away from it. It's here to stay. And so because it is easy to stay closed and hard and be safe with you and your family, but actually, that's not really realistic. At some point we have to be brave and take the risk and open it up and get out there and make a living. I think that you kind of have got to get into the space and be bold and do it carefully and cautiously and actually, get moving. I can't see us being, closed down forever. And I think that this virus is here for a while. That's kind of my sort of understanding of it, really.
Mm. And what would you say to women who are very much in the space at the moment where they would like to hibernate and they don't want to be bold, like you've just said, you need to be bold? I'm such a ninny actually when it comes to a lot of things, but I'd rather hide. It's so much safer. I've got 70-year-old parents who, also, but it's, you have to be realistic about the risk, I think. And I think that, and you've got to just do things with care and caution. And I think you do have to be a little bit bold and brave, because we can't, we actually, as a country in South Africa, I just don't think we've got the resources to afford to just sit and wait it out. And the thing is, I think what we've kind of realized is also in these like in these rural areas, we have a huge number of people who depend on us, and you actually can't just be scared for yourself. You've got to think about the greater impact that it's going to have in your whole community. And when you think about that responsibility, then you do have to stand up and be a little bit more, bold and a little bit more brave. As someone whose family comes from hospitality, understands tourism, and understands the impact that it has on your own family and on your communities, why would you say tourism is important to the economy, to South Africa, to the people who live here?
Oh, it's hugely important. Especially in these rural areas where people depend. These places are kind of the only spaces where there are jobs. And and I think I don't know, we just have the most amazing team of people that we work with as well, loyal, dedicated, we all kind of in it together. We want people to have an awesome stay, and so you kind of are working together very closely as a group of people, and it's generations of families that you're working with too, and also, in our business, we've been lucky that, we added a spa in 2007, and and then we decided, well, if we're going to do this, then we had to get local women trained. We weren't going to bring people from outside. And so, we've trained about 15 women over the past, I don't know, just over 13 years or so. And, it's like a step up in a community. And I think that's kind of where the responsibility of tourism has to be. It's not just about making your own way and making your own, for your own family. It's, the impact is much broader. And so whether it means, you're making a living for yourself, your staff are making a living, but you can also help to improve the lives of people, through tourism. And that's why tourism in South Africa, and the service industry in general, you're taking other people from other places and you're bringing them into your kind of care and sharing, this mountainside is it's a beautiful expanse of hills and, forests and streams. And so there's another whole element in that you help families bond by walking together, and you you give them opportunities to be together. And so tourism, I mean, and that's also, I think, why I'm sort of like a bit disheartened at the moment, is that you have all these families who are so desperate to get out and be in like in nature, and they're all having to just be stuck in cities at the moment, and what's better for you, really? It's if like a conference can, you can go away with 50 people on a conference, and from all sorts of different parts. I imagine if you're conferencing for business, you might have people coming from Durban and Joburg, and you can have a nice business conference. That to me is far more risky than a family of 4 coming on holiday and just enjoying the outdoors. And so I think that these places, they're an escape as well, so people can stay healthy and well. And
But what if someone said to you that actually that's a luxury? Going on holiday, having a break, having a little weekend, or as I heard it said when they were unpacking the regulations, living your best life with your family is a total luxury and completely not necessary, and there are more important things to worry about. What would you say to that?
No, sure. I mean, a holiday is certainly a luxury, and so few people can actually afford it. But on the other side of that are all the people who depend on the industry to make a living and who deserve their livelihoods. So, I mean, I think it's about getting a balance between the two, because, livelihoods, at the end of the day, that's what feeds people. And without food on a table, I mean, what happens to the people that are actually, the rural areas are, that these are poorer communities. They, and look, they are amazing too, though, because they can make a plan, and they can, people look out for each other in rural areas. So that, but just because of that doesn't mean that we should take away their livelihoods, because so yeah.
You wrote a letter, and it was a very impassioned plea. Tell me about that. What compelled you to write? What were you thinking about?
I mean, when I can't sleep, then sometimes things go right in my head, and then it's easier just to put something down on paper. But I mean, I think it was just the uncertainty. There was no clarity in leadership, and so we were trying to make decisions based on what people were saying, rather than having somebody at the helm really sort of driving the industry forward. And I think that's kind of slacking still now. You don't really. I feel that we just don't have anybody championing for our, for tourism, like within government particularly, because certainly there are people that are out there trying to motivate for tourism and get stuff done. But and so I mean, I think it was just this kind of flip-flopping between rules and regulations and what we could and what we couldn't do, and then also the whole fact of the matter that the tours funding was coming to an end at the end of June, and then our staff would be kind of destitute from July, 1st of July. And so we just decided, well, we must get on with it, and we opened. And then there were still, threatening things coming from different people. Oh, you shouldn't be open, you can't be open, And I think you get into a space where you start doubting yourself and doubting all the protocols that you've put in place, and is it good enough? And, what happens if somebody gets sick? Am I going to get into trouble? All that stuff. And so, you're just desperate for somebody to say, no, it's good, get on with it, make it happen. And then, of course, it kind of that after I'd written it, it all came crashing down. No, you have to, leisure's closed. And unfortunately for us, in this area, business travellers are few and far between. And so we just sent all our staff home again and said, we'll see you when we see you. But, I mean, we went into Bergville yesterday and joined the little protest on the side of the road, and, took our signs and did our thing. And our staff all participated with that as well. So that was good, just to, I said to them, I don't know what we're going to achieve, but I think we must get there and at least, have a presence and say what we think, because, maybe somebody will listen.